How mayors can stop ICE's brutal raids and save innocent lives now. Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel where we dive deep into the real stories that the mainstream media often glosses over or ignores entirely. I'm pulling back the curtain on issues that hit hard and affect us all. Today, we're talking about something that's boiling over in communities across the country: the urgent need to shield everyday people from the aggressive tactics of ICE, immigration, and customs enforcement. Look, I'm not here to sugarcoat it. We're in a crisis where innocent lives are being shattered, and it's time we all wake up and demand change. The only real path forward to keep our families, our neighbors, and our communities safe is for every single mayor in this nation to step up, pass tough new laws, and enforce them without backing down. We can't sit idle while more tragedies unfold, lives snuffed out, pregnant women yanked from their homes in the dead of night, kids ripped away from their parents, and elderly folks left battered with broken bones. This isn't just statistics. These are real people, real pain, and it's happening right now. Let me break this down for you step by step so you can see the full picture. ICE has been ramping up operations under the guise of removing criminals, but let's be brutally honest, that's a smokescreen. Sure, no one argues against deporting actual dangerous criminals who pose a threat to society. That's common sense. But what's really going on is far more sinister and widespread. Reports from the ground, from affected families and watchdog groups, show that a massive chunk, I'm talking 70% or even higher, of the people being swept up aren't criminals at all. These are folks who are here legally with valid visas, working hard every single day to build a better life. They're your coworkers, your friends, the people who keep our economy humming. They're paying taxes, raising families, and contributing to our communities. Yet, they're being rounded up like they're disposable, thrown into detention camps that are more like hellholes than holding facilities. Imagine this: you're a hardworking immigrant with all your papers in order. You've got a job, maybe in construction, healthcare, or tech, fields that desperately need talent. You've followed every rule, jumped through every hoop. Then one day, ICE agents kick in your door based on some flimsy tip or mistaken identity. No warning, no due process. You're handcuffed in front of your screaming kids, dragged away, and dumped into an overcrowded camp where abuse is rampant. We're hearing horror stories every day: physical beatings, denial of medical care, sexual assault, and psychological torment that leaves scars for life. Pregnant women are being manhandled, leading to miscarriages or health crises that could have been prevented. Children, some as young as toddlers, are separated from their parents and shuttled into foster systems or worse, facing kidnapping-like scenarios where they're lost in the bureaucracy. And our elders, the grandparents who have spent decades building roots here. They're being treated like animals, ending up with fractured ribs from rough handling or falls during chaotic raids. This isn't justice, it's a systematic attack on human dignity. Why is this happening? Let's connect the dots. In recent years, especially since policies shifted toward mass deportations, ICE has been given a green light to operate with little oversight. Budgets have ballooned, agents are incentivized to hit quotas, and the focus has blurred from targeting real threats to casting a wide net that ensnares the innocent. Think about it. If 70% of deportees are legal visa holders, that's not a targeted operation, that's a dragnet designed to instill fear and control. Communities are terrified, people are afraid to go to work, send kids to school, or even seek medical help. This fear ripples out, hurting local economies, schools, and social fabrics. Businesses lose reliable workers overnight, families are torn apart, and trust in law enforcement plummets. And the camps, they're profit-driven nightmares run by private companies that cut corners to maximize dollars. Overcrowding, poor sanitation, inadequate food, it's a recipe for disease outbreaks and despair. We've seen outbreaks of illnesses like COVID variants or flu in these places, turning them into breeding grounds for more suffering. But here's where we flip the script. Mayors have the power to change this. Cities and towns aren't powerless, they're the frontline defenders. Every mayor can enact sanctuary policies that limit cooperation with ICE. meaning local police won't hand over people for minor infractions or without warrants. They can pass laws requiring ICE to show probable cause before raids, protect schools and hospitals as safe zones, and provide legal aid funds for those targeted. Standing by these laws means enforcing them rigorously, no exceptions, no political waffling. We've seen it work in places like San Francisco or New York, where local leaders have drawn lines in the sand, reducing unnecessary deportations and keeping communities intact. If every mayor followed suit, we could create a nationwide shield, forcing ICE to back off from overreach and focus only on true dangers. We can't afford to wait. More lives are at stake every single day. Picture a pregnant woman, 8 months along, being pulled from her bed and thrown into a van, her screams echoing as she's driven away, risking her baby's life. Or a child, wide-eyed and confused, watching their parent vanish, only to face years of trauma and instability. Elders, who should be enjoying their golden years, instead nursing broken bones in a cold cell, wondering if they'll ever see home again. These aren't hypotheticals. These are documented cases pouring in from advocacy groups like the ACLU and Human Rights Watch. The death toll is climbing, people dying in custody from neglect, suicides from hopelessness, or violence during apprehensions. We cannot let this become the new normal. It's a betrayal of American values of fairness, opportunity, and humanity. This is a call to action, folks. We all need to stand up, loud, proud, and unyielding. Contact your mayors, flood their offices with calls and emails demanding these protective laws. Join protests, support immigrant rights organizations, and vote for leaders who prioritize people over politics. As an independent journalist, I'm fearless in saying this. The MAGA-driven push for mass deportations is fueling this chaos, targeting the vulnerable to score political points. But we're better than that. We're a nation of immigrants built on the backs of those who came seeking a dream. It's time to protect that legacy, not destroy it. We've got to rally together because silence equals complicity. If we don't act now, the abuses will escalate, more camps, more raids, more broken families. But if we unite, we can force real change. Mayors, listen up. Enforce those laws, stand firm, and save lives. To everyone watching, share this video, spread the word, and let's build a movement that can't be ignored. ICE agents aren't cops. Why their brutal raids, kidnappings, and killings must be treated as crimes now. Hey folks, it's your independent journalist here, cutting through the noise to bring you the raw, unfiltered truth about what's really going down in our communities. Right now, in 2026, we're watching a nightmare unfold. Federal agents from ICE storming cities, terrorizing families, and acting like they own the place. And let's be crystal clear, these ICE agents are not real cops. They're federal immigration enforcers, not local police sworn to protect and serve our neighborhoods. They have no business rampaging through our streets, homes, or schools like some occupying force. What they're doing, dragging people away without warning, using excessive force, even shooting unarmed civilians, crosses into straight-up criminal territory. Rape, kidnapping, murder, and straight terrorism against vulnerable people. It's time we call it what it is and demand accountability. No more excuses, no more looking the other way. This has to stop. First off, understand who these agents really are. ICE is a federal agency under Homeland Security, created after 9/11 by merging old immigration and customs functions. Their job is to enforce federal immigration laws, arresting, detaining, and deporting people who violate those rules. But unlike your local police, who answer to city or state oversight, ICE agents operate under federal rules with far less local accountability. They can stop and question people they suspect are here illegally, use administrative warrants, not always judicial ones, and deploy massive operations with little transparency. In cities, they've been surging in with hundreds or thousands of officers, often unmarked vehicles and masked agents, partnering with other feds but clashing with local cops who want nothing to do with it. Recent incidents, like the fatal shooting of a U.S. citizen woman in Minneapolis on January 7, 2026, show how deadly this can get, agents claiming self-defense while local leaders call it reckless and unnecessary. Video evidence disputes their story, and the mayor told ICE to get the hell out. That's the reality. These aren't community protectors, they're enforcers of a harsh federal agenda, often ignoring local laws and norms. Now, let's talk about the real harm, the abuses that make this feel like state-sponsored terror. Even if orders come straight from the top, and yes, the current administration has cranked up mass deportations with billions in funding, new agents and quotas pushing for thousands of arrests daily. That doesn't make the actions right or legal when they violate basic human rights. Reports from 2025 and into 2026 paint a horrifying picture. Pregnant women shackled and neglected, leading to miscarriages or denied prenatal care, children as young as toddlers separated or mistreated, some U.S. citizens caught in the dragnet, elderly folks facing beatings, medical neglect, or worse. In detention centers, overcrowded hellholes run by private companies, people die from preventable causes like untreated illnesses, suicides, or outright neglect. 2025 was ICE's deadliest year in decades, with over 30 deaths in custody, many from medical failures or inhumane conditions. We've got credible accounts of physical and sexual abuse, people held in freezing cells, denied water or food, exposed to extreme temperatures. These aren't isolated mistakes, they're systemic, fueled by a push for numbers over humanity and the raids. They're not surgical strikes on criminals. Sure, ICE claims they target the worst offenders, rapists, murderers, traffickers. But the data shows a wide net scooping up people with no criminal records, legal visa holders, hardworking families who have been here for years. Operations flood cities like Los Angeles, Chicago, Minneapolis, using tactics that terrify everyone: door-to-door sweeps, workplace busts, courthouse arrests. Communities live in fear, parents skip work, kids miss school, people avoid hospitals. This isn't safety, it's control through terror. Local police often refuse to cooperate in sanctuary areas, which is why ICE pushes harder into communities, creating more chaos and risk of mistakes, like detaining or even deporting U.S. citizens by accident. Here's the blunt truth. ICE has no inherent right to override local authority in our cities. Many places have sanctuary policies limiting cooperation, no honoring detainers without warrants, no sharing info freely, no letting ICE roam jails unchecked. That's not harboring criminals. It's protecting due process, community trust, and resources for real local crime. When ICE ignores that and acts rogue, their overreach, excessive force, false arrests, deadly encounters should face criminal charges just like any vigilante or rogue actor. Rape during custody, kidnapping families. Murder and shootings, terrorism through intimidation, call it out, prosecute it. We have local cops for a reason. They know our streets, answer to us, and follow rules. ICE doesn't belong here without strict limits. This administration's push, mass deportations, record detentions, billions poured into enforcement, has turned ICE into an unaccountable machine. It's not about public safety, it's about fear, division, and political points. We've seen shootings, vehicular attacks claimed as terrorism. But the real terror is what ICE inflicts daily. Enough is enough. We need mayors, governors, and everyday people to stand firm, no cooperation, demand oversight, push for laws criminalizing these abuses. Contact your leaders, join protests, support immigrant rights groups. Silence lets this continue. If this message spoke to you, even just a little, stay connected with me by following. Your support truly matters more than you realize, and every moment you take to listen is deeply appreciated. Please leave a like on this video and share your thoughts in the comments after hearing the story. Follow and subscribe so you never miss what comes next. Your support keeps the space alive. It costs nothing, yet it means everything to me. Showing love through engagement helps me continue creating, speaking truth, and showing up consistently. I appreciate each and every one of you. Thank you for listening, for supporting, and for standing with me. Crowning Thoughts True Speaker Copyright 2025 by Santiago D.C. Maria, licensed under Creative Commons Attribution. I love you all. I appreciate every one of you, and I thank you for your time. Stay blessed.